So, hey guys, so this is day four of solving programming problems, and today we're going to take a look at one of the most easiest problem that Geeks for Geeks has, which is to sort an array of zeros and ones and two. This is fairly easy, so I'm just going to go over the algorithm pretty quickly and then show you how to code it out in Java. So initially we're going to take the sample array. We're going to have zeros, ones, and twos as values in the array, and the problem objective is make this array sorted, meaning that zeros would come in the first, and then one would come in the middle, and then two would come at the last. So to solve this problem, I'm going to make use of three pointers: low, mid, and high. So low and mid, we would initially set those to be the first point of the array, which is at index 0, and the value of high is going to be set at the last position of the array, which is again length minus 1 in this case. So we would do an iteration. We would just do a single iteration throughout the entire array, and we would solve this array. So the algorithm that we're going to use to solve this problem is that we're going to do a while loop iteration. So we're going to check if while mid is less than or equal to high, and then we're gonna run this iteration until this condition becomes false, right? So initially we would check if the value of m is equal to 0. If the value of m is equal to 0, we would just swap the values at location L and M. So in this case, since L and M is pointing at the same location and M is having a value of 0, we would just swap the value and then it would remain the same. And once we do a swap, we're just going to increment the values of L to the next location and the value of M to the next location, meaning that L would come here and then M would be here. So we'll just pass to here. And then we're going to check the value of M at this location. Since the value of M at this location is 2, we're going to swap the values at location M and the values at location H, because 2 needs to be at the last of the array, right? So we're going to swap that. So here it would be 0 and then here it would be 2. And what we're going to do is that we're going to decrement the value of H, since we no longer need that pointer, right? So since already we are pretty sure that the value at that location is going to be 2, we don't care about that. So we're just going to decrement the value of H to here, and we're going to check again. We're going to check here what the value of m is. Since the value of m is 0, we're going to swap the locations of values at location m, L, and M. So both are pointed to the same location, so we're not going to change anything in the array. And then we're going to iterate. We're going to increment the values of L and M to the next position. So we're going to cut it off, go to L here, go to M here, and now if we check the value at location M is 1. If the value of location M is 1, we're just going to increment the pointer M, and then set the not change the value of L at all. So M would move to here, and then at this location we see that the value at the point location M is 2. So as we talked about earlier, we would just swap out the values at H and M. So we would do a swap. Since they are both pointing in the same direction, we don't even necessarily need to do a swap. So after we do a swap, we're just going to decrement the value of H to here. So at this point of time, H becomes lower than M. So our while loop does not return true. The condition of the while loop does not return true. So if you took a look at the array right now, we can see that the array is sorted. So 0, 0, 1, 2, and 2. So this is how we solve this problem. It's fairly straightforward. So now I'm going to code this problem in Java. So I already have my pointers laid out here. So low and mid is going to point at the starting location of the array, and high is going to point at the last location of the array. So I'm just going to do a while loop here as I showed you in the algorithm. I'm going to check if mid is less than or equal to high, and then I'm going to have three conditions inside the loop. So one of those conditions is to check if the value of mid is equal to 0. If it is equal to 0, we're going to do a swap of low and mid, right? So I'm going to set the value of mid to temp, and then I'm going to set the value of mid here to low, and then I'm going to set the value of low to temp. Oops. And then I'm going to increment the value of low, and then I'm going to increment the value of temp. Wait, is that no? Sorry, value of mid. Yep. So this is our first condition. The next condition or the probable case that we can have is to check if the value of mid is equal to 2. So as we talked about, we're just gonna, in this case, we're gonna swap out the values at location high and the values at location mid. So I'm gonna have a temporary variable to set the value of mid maybe, and then I'm gonna set the value of mid equal to value of high, and then at the end I'm gonna set the value of high equal to temp. I'm gonna just decrement the value of high, yeah, and not gonna change low or mid here. And the last case that we can have, if it was not for 0 and 2, is 1. So if we did place 1, if mid did have a value of 1, um, we're just gonna increment the value of mid here. So that is pretty much it. And now I'm gonna compile and run this program. Hopefully it runs without any errors. Yep, and I'm gonna submit this. Yep, we solved the program, and that is pretty much it, guys. It's pretty fairly straightforward. Let me know in the comments if you have any questions. So see you tomorrow with a new problem.